We have a vision like everybody else in this room. Our vision is that Soweto is a city.
Presentation from Soweto, my city. I will therefore ask the time for us to then just switch off a little bit from the agenda and hear this presentation relating from Soweto, my city. Soweto, my city will be here to introduce itself. Thank you.
Sanibonani. Igama uThabo Jabu Khumalo. I represent an organization called Soweto My City Pty Limited. It is a registered business and company, registered in 2016 in recognition of the opportunities that we as a community are overlooking, that we can really put attention to, and it can really move our mindset and our ecosystem around us. So thank you for the time and highly appreciate the opportunity to be part of this historical school. Everywhere I'm going, I hear good vibes everywhere. So for me, that is good energy. Already I've been getting vibes which we are associated with at the school. So I must say your reputation precedes you without you being there.
Wow.
So I will start there. Okay, first and foremost, we call ourselves the future because we are taking a journey that makes our kids realize that they have responsible parents, they have a future they can look forward to. So we basically position ourselves to say, how do we take this era that we are in with so many challenges as a community and as a society across the country? How do we take ourselves and move into an era where we know that even if beyond here, as a parent, when we are not existing, our kids will continue to thrive, our kids will continue to be successful. So hence we positioned ourselves as the future. So our experiment comes a couple of years ago. It was in 2019. I was planning to do a presentation for you that would be digital, but I'm going to give you these products so that you have a look. You have a look at who we are basically when we talk of being the future. 2 years ago, we engaged with a school called Thabisang Primary School because we realized that our kids' education is neglected in many ways. So when we sat with Thabisang Primary School, we said we'll put a proposal to the primary school to say, how do we take this school that some of us studied at and transform it that it appeals to the next generations that come behind us. So we did groundwork, we identified what is it that makes schools across the river, I call it across the river. What is it that makes schools across the river successful? What is it that they have, infrastructure across the entire facilities of the school? So we broke it down. We said modern schools have facilities, modern schools have the right infrastructure, modern schools have the right communication elements, and modern schools have parents that are fully participating in that. So how do we take our own communities and do all of those things we admire in the so-called schools across the river? So we did a proper study of Thabisang. We engaged with SGBs, we started doing a plan together, which is, I believe it's the platform that we are starting here today, to say how do we take this school and make it a better school in the future. And at the time as well, Thabisang had a 60th anniversary. So we already have walked the 60th anniversary walk in an element that says we have lessons And we're going to make sure that Ikaneng doesn't go through the similar risks and all of that. So what we did is we said, itabisang nai, infrastructure yayo nai, what is it that we want to develop? So we identified everything. We ended up at an extent where we had a full floor plan of the school, and we started saying, because of the facility, it can allow that there can be because the school takes 600 learners, takes 600 learners. So we designed a 600-seater hall for the school. We designed a tennis courts, we designed swimming pools, we designed athletics field, because the school can accommodate all of those things. So we went to a professional designer who designed schools in the other side of life. So we sourced out the right people to assist us in this space, because that's their expert. So we sat down, we really broke down the school to be exactly what it is that we envisage in the future, costing it and everything. So why I'm bringing that back is because it plays a key role in us how we plan moving forward, obviously upon agreement with how we're moving forward. So in essence, we took that exercise to assist us in the future that we are at today, to say, how do we now assist other schools with these kind of lessons to really transform the education element of our environment? Because our challenge is that, for instance, as we see it right now, in the IT skills, our kids will not fit. They are not qualified, whether in primary school or in high school. The kind of subjects and everything that we are teaching, equipment is not there, computer equipment and all of that. So the requirements of today's working environment, our kids will not really participate in the near future if we don't transform our education right now. So in a nutshell, we took this expert that the experience we learned from there to say, we can then approach schools that require our services to transform. And we also put together a team on our side that is equipped enough to assist us to make sure that if we come into Ikaneng and say, Ikaneng, we want to transform the school into a 100% IT savvy institute, how do we do it? So we sat down, we put a package together from the time the child walks in through the gate to say, what do we use, biometric systems that we use, to how do we set up the classrooms, how many kids are around. So we derived a system that will make sure if Ikaneng has 1,200 kids, all 1,200 kids will be able to be in the platform of technology. Whether it's already tablet, whether it's not only the Wi-Fi. Currently you have a Wi-Fi that runs administration. Imagine if you have the Wi-Fi that runs the entire school. So what we're basically saying is that we have built solutions that make sure that the school becomes entirely digitally compliant across from grade R or ECD, early child development, whatever classes we have, to grade 7. I think the school ends at grade 7. So we have basically designed a program that will sort after the school, depending on the size of students that are at the school. It will be tailor-made for that, because a 600 capacity school and 1,200 capacity school require different resources. And obviously in that plan that we will prepare for the school, particularly for this one, it will indicate everything that will be used and what resources will be required for the school to fully move from that 0 level to a particular level. And obviously, as we engage, we will come up with a solid plan. We will put it in front of the SGB so that we all go through it and we understand it clearly. So in a nutshell, we are saying, we raised our hands to say we will not wait for our government to really do our things for us. We will take the position to pioneer the transformation or the evolution of our schools to the level we want to. This doesn't end at primary schools. This goes to high schools as well. Because whatever we produce here at Ikaneng must be able to go to the high school. We have a challenge right now. Kids do primary, and then after that, go high school is into slack down. They start being on the streets and all of that. So we're designing an ecosystem that flows from ECD to when they start working. So we are in progress and monitoring the child's education from A to Z up until asebenze, and in the working environment as well. As we speak, we've partnered with the SWGC, 17,000 teenagers enrolled this year alone. Our question is, after the 17,000 have finished studies, where do they go to? The working environment does not allow them. They don't have enough qualifications. So we've also plugged in the SWGC. As we speak, we are starting a 60-seater call center that will already start picking kids from the SWGC. Dobsonville, we're taking 30 kids. Dube, we're taking 30 kids to be a 60 team that will start our call center. We have various products that we are offering in our call center. We are an ISP that is officially qualified now to provide internet services and anything related in the IT space. So computers, hardware, we will be able to access those. We formed partnership, we're a reseller for very prominent companies that provide all these products. So we are saying we are bringing this solution with all the partners that are involved in making sure that all these ecosystems that we are creating are practical and they are functional. So in a nutshell, we are saying, you guys continue to be SGB. We continue to be the guys that come in and say we build solutions, because we are doing that responsibility not only from a business element, but from a parental element. We are taking responsibility as parents as well, like you are sitting here to be here on holiday time of the school. We also dedicate our time similarly. It's just that our scope is broader, because we are not only looking at schools, we are looking at the entire ecosystem that says, what makes Soweto tick? Why are we not the economy that we want to be? Because we've been on a dependent syndrome over the years as a community. So we are cutting that cord to say, let us be a responsible community, contributing with our individual skills and strengths, but to form a unit that says, I've got my strength here, I got my strength here. We plug you in and we all are happy with what we do. So in terms of assisting the school, even on fundraising for the whole project, we are here. We are here to say we have built solutions that will not make the school feel the pinch to say, how do we do this? Hence, we've engaged with the program that you guys have requested, from the business breakfast, all the way to the launch, all the way to... So in there, we will be bringing in innovative manner of fundraising that will assist the school not to feel the pinch. So we've got products, we've got services that we offer, and we've got mainly what we've just acquired now is a banking card. We've acquired a partnership with a company called Coinvest. So what we're doing now is that, to be very specific, I'll say it in this manner. We've played in anything and everything in the economy as a society. We are not progressing because we are not in this space. We do not control this space. This space is controlled by those who are in power. So we are saying, if we can practice to be in this ecosystem, 20 cent, makuyi 1 rand beyiphuma, akusali 20 cent, Slave City, black economy, black economy. So what we're saying is that if 20 cent can stay behind, it can build our schools, it can build our roads, it can sort out after the environment as if now. So we've signed a partnership with a company called Coinvest. They are a fintech company, they are a black company. The reason being, we cannot access the banking institutions if we are just Soweto my city saying we want to open a bank or we want an infrastructure of banking. So through them, we formed the partnership so that we are able to get that rand circulation slowing down and staying in our environment longer. So in a nutshell, I am raising a point to say along the fundraising elements that we will utilize, this is a platform that will come into play so that the school does not feel the pinch to raise these funds. A project like Thabisang was costing us 30 million rand to put together, 600-seater hall, the tennis courts, the swimming pools, the everything. 30 million rands in a nutshell. It's not an easy task, you know. So we brought in an alumni like Basitsana Kumalo, who was born and bred in the school. The mother used to teach at that school and all of that. So to assist us as we raise these funds together. So COVID came, it put a hold to Thabisang's dream. So we couldn't move forward. So when Mr. Gege Piri approached me to say, hey, we have an agenda like this, and I said, whoa, deja vu. So now it is time for us to really prove that this can be done. And Ikaneng's got quite prominent alumni as well that we would like to bring to the fore to say, guys, what is it that we've left behind that we can fix? Because this school is 60 years old. My debate has always been, why should it look like it was 60 years ago for a generation of today? There's something we are not doing right. Are we saying the same walls, the same brown bricks, everywhere must stay the same way? Without us improving for our kids, then somewhere we are missing the future, you know? So we are saying, we retaupile hore re tlo thusa dikolo tsa rona ka bongata ba tsona. I think we have in excess of 300 schools in Soweto. We will, if it means it takes us 5 years, 10 years, we will transform all of them. We have partnerships with NASCOP. We've approached everybody and every stakeholder that is relevant to making this journey a success. So in this business breakfast, for argument's sake, we are aiming to attract as much as possible of the business sector into the game. And also through the school's permission, like I even debated last week when we were sitting here, that can we please then identify all the stakeholders we want, even the alumni, because they can really have an impact. You guys have a Lucas Radebe in this space. I said to the guys here last week, imagine we have a 3-meter statue of Lucas Radebe in the school. He's a global icon. In Leeds, they have a billboard of Lucas Radebe. They have spaces of Lucas Radebe and all of that. So you have a wall as you walk into the school here that can be upgraded. And imagine the first person you see as you walk in is Lucas Radebe. That's tourism at its best. That's a destination you're creating that will influence the ecosystem of Zone 4. Because then you're saying businesses, Imink Drive, they start participating. So hence I say it's an ecosystem that we are creating. And through this, the school will benefit as well, because we will sit down, we will break it down and say, all right, the school's participation in this kind of format will allow us to involve parents. You have 1,200 kids. Every child has 2 parents. That's 2,400 parents participating. Now, in your mind, imagine every parent giving 50 rand every month. Every business around Diepkloof giving 50 rand every month. Through a system there that has responsibility and accountability. Everybody's looking at saying, okay, if this program we're coming up with is going to cost us 2 facilities, it's going to cost us 40 million rand. How do we raise 40 million rand? We've already created awareness to the community. We've already identified the persons who will assist us in this fundraising. And I'm sure these alumni will never say no to something that is of a legacy like that, you know. So the approach is going to be very key. We had a discussion about what will be the school's responsibility, what will be Soweto My City's responsibility in gathering all of these stakeholders that we want. So in terms of us going to cooperate, we are the soldiers. We will go to cooperate and knock. Even if the first day was by 4 or by 7. But because I like the planning that this is for 2023, so we have a good 12, 14, 15 months right now to build up to all of that. So we have parents that we need to involve, we have the community. So it's a huge task. It's not small. So for us today is more an introduction to say, Ikaneng, Soweto My City raised his hands, and what we want to do is sit down and then plan properly moving forward. How it is that we will execute this thing, this big vision, because for us, you are already setting a trend. For us, you are already putting up the barometer to even the education platforms, to everybody, to say, here's a new era dawning. And we are also bringing on board any stakeholders that are relevant. So imagine in one room, we have the SGWC. We have everybody that will look after the ecosystem of the child from ECD till they finish school. So all those real players, we want to engage them. We want to bring them to the table. So in a nutshell, the future is there.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Team members, maybe I should then give this chance to ask any clarities, questions, or comments on this. See, that is kind of snake.
No, thanks, Chair. Let's welcome the presentation. It's really interesting, and I think it actually speaks to what we are trying to achieve. But then it brings in an element that we would not necessarily have. With us, remember, planning the 60th anniversary was to celebrate the milestones of the school. But the element that is coming in is also assisting, because then it speaks to our resolutions in terms of the strategic planning that we had. In the strategic planning, we had projects that we wanted to engage in, but they were not necessarily infused into the 60th anniversary. But then the element and the angle that is bringing in, it then says it assists us to actually kill two birds with one stone. As we celebrate the milestone, we also filter in our fundraising activities. For example, I'm sure you are aware our school is peculiar. We work in two different campuses, and we're the only school that has got two campuses. Now that means everything that we do, it's double. The electricity bill is double, water bill is double, but the allocation is one. So, and more so, we are a no-fee paying school. That's the critical element. And we're not a no-fee paying school just. It is because of where we're located. You look at the socio-economic profiling of the community, it will tell you that the majority of people are not working, or if they are working, it's contract, temporary, all that. So it becomes very difficult when you want to engage communities in terms of fundraising, and fundraising where people have to pop up money. There must be value for that. So I think that's the element you are bringing in to say we must not look at our communities as just communities that cannot do anything. As we fundraise, like we are speaking of the issue of the card, you never know, parents might be interested to take the card. So we're appreciating that particular element. Then, Chair, I think from my side, I think it would be a good opportunity for us as a school to associate ourselves with Soweto My City. I know we already have a project team that is dealing with the 60th anniversary. So let's infuse, I'm lobbying the SGP to infuse the expertise that Soweto My City, and we take advantage of their network. Clearly they have a very big network that they are bringing to us to access. But what I'm also picking up, Chair, is that we must be prepared to roll our sleeves. We must really be prepared to work. We must really be, if there are meetings, honor those particular meetings. And we must be realistic in terms of our projections. So that we aim high, and if we don't get there, at least we fall here. So I am maybe questions that one would want to check, but I think those are the questions that will go to the task team. I heard you speaking of issues of the designing. I take it would be the school plan in terms of what is it that we want. Because I know, Chair, you'd remember we had said this thing of 2 campuses ultimately would want all learners in one space. And to do that, it would mean we must build another another story.
2 up again, 2.
You understand? So that we accommodate the 600 that is that side. So what is saying, it's bringing to me all those futuristic plans that we're having to say it's an opportunity to start. The long and short of it, Chair, is to say no. I'm lobbying SGP that let's partner with Soweto My City, and I'm definitely sure we will be able to achieve what we want to achieve. Thanks, Chair.
Anybody want to comment on that? Any comment, SGP?
No. Silapova, thank you.
Yeah, no, ki interested by the topics for us all over here. No, but I think the Soweto My City as well as presented its case very well, and they've showcased something extraordinary for us. Thank you. Finally, anything else, Joe? Soweto My City?
Yes, we already also obviously in agreement. We also requesting we call it a letter of appointment, where we are able, it assists us in entering doors in an open manner to say we represent Ikaneng partnership with us. We are raising funds, we are, and also guide us in terms of there will be people who've got monetary donations, there will be people who've got gifts, donations. So we must be able to account as to if we say there's an account that must be paid into a school, give us that kind of information that anybody who wants to donate to the account of the school, let it be done directly, so that we have a transparent relationship.
This one I really need you.
Yeah, no, Chair. I think what Prachav is speaking to would be what you've spoken to, the service level agreement, because it becomes important that Soweto My City understands its role, we understand their role, so that we don't see Soweto My City going to monitor teaching and learning.
Yeah.
So things happen.
Yeah, they happen. They do. Now teachers are worried, who's this facilitator? So it needs to be clear. It needs to be clear to say yes, their role. Because remember, we are a public institution. So as they come in, we also need to be able to inform GDE.
Yes.
To say GDE, we have partnered with this particular business partner, and this is their role. So what we're going to request from Soweto My City is, you have worked with these things before. If you can maybe craft that service level agreement to say, Ikaneng, this is what, and then we will be able to say, okay, in terms of this, can you also add 1, 2, 3? Because we are new in this. It's not all the time schools are celebrating 60 years, but we have worked with a number of events that would culminate to something like that. So you will assist us. What we have as minutes, as is this meeting, I'm sure I've lobbied. You'll come there, and then hopefully once the SGP approves, then you can come in and assist us with that service level agreement. So we need to know those things. If we bring 30 million to the school, we have a particular percentage that must come back to Soweto My City. How do we deal with media? How do we also assist Soweto My City in terms of publicity? Do we use our report cards to have their logo to say for this term, or when we deal maybe with the school newsletter, do we bring them in? You understand? So that we are clear. Because like I said, we are a no-fee paying school. There is no way we'll say, okay, we have this particular budget.
You can work on it.
That this 100,000 we're going to pay Soweto My City do the work. It's a partnership. There must be that understanding. It's a partnership, but it should be clear to say what benefits because they are not going to do it for free.
Precisely.
What impact do they want to make? What returns are they expecting? And understanding the school, you understand? It's not like dealing maybe with pick and pay. It's a school, you understand how it operates. Now, as you project your returns, they must be within the context of the school. It's a school that is not paying. So whatever would come to the company will depend on what the company brings to the school. I think that's what I want to bring into this level, service level agreement. Thanks, Chair.
Anyone want to anything? Yeah, no. Kachuka never do work. Who told you Shapile is to my city? How the Shapile is always. It was over.
I know sometimes I don't do my first digest.
Oh no, no, sharp. I mean, I think in that understanding, which also to my city will then have to come back, sit with the principal as requested. I think to Ronaldo sign and Roger believe that one. But right now, showed you we tentatively give you the right to say start working with us. You are part of us. Now the agreement will then come and stipulate exactly what roles then we play in those areas.
I think we've already hit the ground running with the organizing team. So anything I have suggestions for, I'll put to the organizing team so that we also fast track.
We'll do that.
Things.
We'll do that. Sure.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you,
President.
President.
Mina.
Yeah.